Bhakti Sangha mid-morning session. May we have a few introductions, please, so that we can greet you personally.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Danvat Pranam, Sarvadi Sri Srila Prabhupada Maharajas and all the assembled Vaishnavas. This is Kirti Dasundri Dasi. Thank you so much, Uma Mataji, for this beautiful recitation.
Hare Krishna, Kirtida Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for all your services. Thank you for your classes. And welcome, Mataji, to today's class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devdas from College Station, Texas.
What's that?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I'm so sorry for that. Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Guru Maharaj. Welcome, Mataji, to today's call, and thank you for all your services. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. This is Yashmati Priya Devi Dasi from Cincinnati.
Hare Krishna, Yashomati Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Guru Maharaj. Welcome, Mataji, to today's call, and thank you for your services, Mataji, and being here every day. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Danvat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Neetu from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna, Neetu Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for joining every day. And welcome, Mataji, to today's call. Hare Krishna. Mataji, so it's 11 o'clock. Shall we start? And Mataji is also here. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Archana Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Mataji, for giving your time and being here. And before I hand over the call to you, with your permission, shall I go ahead and read Srila Prabhupada's quote for today, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. There is distinction even in wood. There are so many jungle woods. We can use it for cooking. But the sandalwood, which is so valuable, if we do not know what is the value of sandalwood, if we use it for cooking and burning, similarly, if we use this human form of life exactly like the cats and dogs, simply for sense gratification, then we are committing suicide. This was instructed by His Divine Grace at Honolulu on May 5th, 1976. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji, Archana Bhakti Mataji. We always wait to hear from you. We love your classes. And for that 1 hour, you take us all, Mataji. With your devotion, we get a small glimpse of Mahaprabhu's pastimes. So eagerly waiting to hear from you. And Mataji will be talking on Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya Kanda, 23rd chapter, texts 514 to 527. So please take over, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. First of all, I really want to express my gratitude. I have noticed that the devotees are really, warm and welcoming, regardless of, just because you're glorifying, it doesn't mean that the speaker is good. But you're all very, very affectionate, like a family. So I really thank you for that, for making me feel at home. So we will begin today. We are going to read from text 514 onwards. I'm not sure how many we will be able to cover. If I can cover first 3, I will be happy. But if we do more than that, then we'll see. So I'll start with prayers now, with all of your blessings. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। श्री चैतन्य भागवत की जय, श्रील वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जय। So today we will be reading from Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya Kanda, chapter 23, and we have been reading about the Nagar Sankirtan performed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the non-cooperation movement, where they all went to Chand Kazi's house. And after that, we saw the most recent. So this is a long chapter. As you can see, we are in the 514th verse today, so many verses. So the recent thing that happened was after meeting with Chand Kazi, then Mahaprabhu went to Kolavecha Sridhar's house, where Mahaprabhu drank from the beaten up, right, old dented iron cup of Kolavecha Sridhar. So then from there, Mahaprabhu started he started coming back, and how everyone, all the devotees, how they were appreciating Mahaprabhu. And also it is said that this pastime, it appears like it happened only in one night. So they started in the evening, in the late afternoon, they all gathered in front of Mahaprabhu's house and they went. So it appears like this whole kirtan and everything just happened in one night. But actually it is not one night. This went on for several kalpas, because they were in so much ecstasy. All the Navadvip Vasis who were following Mahaprabhu in that kirtan, they were experiencing so much ecstasy. They were praying that may this night never end. And according to their desire, actually it went on for several kalpas, although externally to us it appears like it was one night. It was not just 12 hours of our time. It lasted for several kalpas. So after that, then it is said that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's performing these pastimes even now. But who is able to see, witness these pastimes? Only one who is fortunate is able to witness like that. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is glorifying Mahaprabhu's pastimes, and who is able to actually witness them, he said. So that was text 13, 513. अद्यापिह चैतन्य ए सब लीला कोरे जार भाग्य थाके से देखा ये निरंतरे. जिसका भाग्य होगा, one who is fortunate, he will be able to witness these pastimes of Mahaprabhu nirantare, continuously, because the Lord's pastimes are nitya lila, they are eternally happening. So now with today's verse, Bhakta lagi prabhura sakala avatar, Bhakta bai Krishna karma na janaye ar. Bhakta lagi prabhura sakala avatar. Prabhura Sakala Avatar. All avatars of the Lord are meant for who? Bhakta Lagi. It is meant for devotees. Whatever avatars the Lord is taking, these avatars he is taking exclusively for his devotees, not for any other purpose. Now, next Sunday, we will be observing Narsimha Chaturdasi. Some days ago, we observed Sri Lord Ramchandra's appearance. Before that, Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu's appearance. So when the Lord is appearing in his various avatars, why is he appearing? For the sake of his devotees, he is appearing. And it is those fortunate devotees who are able to see the Lord. Bhakta boi Krishna karma na jane ar. And except for the devotees, nobody else can understand the wonderful activities of the Lord. To others, they can appear like ordinary activities. We see when Lord Krishna appeared, Duryodhan and all his associates, Kamsa, Jarasan, what were they thinking? Oh, he's a cowherd boy, or, he's a very cunning person, or this or that, a politician. They didn't see Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Satchidananda Vigraha. Who was seeing? The Pandavas were able to see. Kunti Maharani was able to see. Bhishmadev was able to see. Vidura was able to see. What was their qualification? They had bhakti. So only the devotees are actually, in reality, the devotees are the fortunate ones, and they are the ones who can understand the activities of the Lord, the transcendental nature. Janma karma chame divyam. The Lord's birth and his activities are divyam, transcendental. Who is able to see? Can everyone see that? No, only a devotee can see. So the Lord's wonderful activities can be seen only by his devotees, and the Lord's Leela is also meant for his devotees only. He comes in his various avatars, various forms, just for the devotees. Or his avatars are there because there are those devotees who appreciate that form the best. So for those devotees, the Lord is there in that form, like that. Of course, his forms are eternal. The devotees are also eternal. So there's no question of, so when did this form start? Is there an origin? No, there's no origin like that. They are eternal. The Lord is eternally existing, and his devotees are also, there are Nitya Siddha devotees who are eternally existing, and they are worshipping that form. Bhakta lagi prabhura sakala avatar. भक्तों के लिए है भगवान के सभी अवतार. Bhakta boi Krishna karma na janaye are. Except for devotees, nobody can understand the wonderful activities of Krishna. The Supreme Lord incarnates for the sake of his devotees. No one other than the devotees can understand the activities of Krishna. Only the eternal servants of the Supreme Lord are qualified to realize the Lord's eternal incarnations. The eternal servants of the Lord are qualified to realize the Lord's eternal incarnations. The Supreme Lord always appears in the devotees' hearts, which are eternally inclined to service. Unless one is inclined to the Lord's service, the activities of Krishna or his eternal pastimes do not become the object of one's realization. So there's a very, very important philosophical point here, for which I will have to share my blackboard with all of you. One second. Am I sharing the board already? No, right? Thank you. Yes, sir. I'm sharing.
Mataji, we can see your screen.
You're seeing my screen. Good. Thank you. Okay. So this is the verse. Bhakta lagi prabhura sakala avatar. Bhakta boi Krishna karma na janaye ar. So for the first line, Bhakta lagi prabhura sakala avatar. Krishna is coming for the sake of his devotees. So in Bhagavad Gita 4:8 we will see Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. What do you feel when you read this? Oh, Krishna is coming for the sake of his devotees. Yes. Paritranaya sadhunam. Sadhu means his devotees. So what is paritrana? Paritrana means protection. Protection. Paritrana means protection. Okay. So for the protection, he's coming for the protection of sadhus. That is one. And what is the other one? He's coming for destroying the miscreants. That's the other one. He's coming for destroying the miscreants. And dharma samsthapanarthaya, for establishing dharma. So what do you know about dharma? Generally, we think dharma means what? You have varnashram dharma. Dharma means varnashram dharma. There is dharma for Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas, Stri dharma. This is dharma. According to Dharma Shastras, when you say dharma, means the duties which are enjoined by Shastra for various groups in a society. So, Paritranaya sadhuna means to give protection to the devotees. Vinashaya cha dushkritam means to destroy the miscreants. And dharma samsthapanarthaya means to establish dharma. Sambhavami yuge yuge, I am appearing. Yuge yuge means in various avatars. Yes, in different yugas, the Lord appears in different avatars. So he is coming in various avatars. Now, Acharya Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining, actually, all these three are meant for the devotees only. Because what is this line saying here? Bhaktalagi Prabhura Sakala Avatar. He's coming only for devotees. He's not coming for any other purpose. The Lord is coming only for the devotees. So, how do you understand what Krishna is saying here? How is Acharya explaining this to us? Paritranaya sadhunam. Someone may ask Krishna, my Lord, you have such wonderful devotees like Kshatriya kings. You have Parikshit Maharaj, you have Yudhishthir Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj. They are all pure devotees. Do you have to personally go to give protection to the devotees? If there is some danger, or they are, let's say they have some difficulty, maybe they're in poverty, or they need some things, or maybe there's some danger from thieves and rogues. For example, there were some, Rakshasas that were like torturing people. So in Mahabharata, we see how Bhimsen, he killed so many, right? Hidimba and Bakasura. Bakasura was, really creating havoc in Ekachakragram, where they stayed after Lakshagraha, where the Pandavas stayed. So like this, the kings are there. Your pure devotee kings are there. Can't they give protection to the sadhus? So the Lord's answer to this question is, yes, my devotees are capable in giving protection. They can give protection. Then what is the need for you to come? Was the question. So the Lord is saying, yes, for protection of, my devotees will give protection to everyone. But who will give protection to that devotee? You understand that my devotee is giving protection from all other problems here in this world. But my devotee's problem cannot be solved even by my devotees. My devotees cannot be protected even by my devotees. Why? What is a devotee's problem? Is poverty a concern for the devotee? Is, loss of life or all these things, are they really problems for the devotee? Is anything in this material world actually going to give, does the devotee consider it a problem for him? A devotee's only pain is what? Not being able to see Krishna, not being able to serve Krishna. They want to see, they want to get darshan. Like that chatak bird which is waiting, for that one drop of rain coming from the clouds, it won't drink any water on the ground. It's always looking at the rain cloud for that water coming from the rain cloud. So similarly, the devotees are always looking for Krishna. Nothing else is going to satisfy them. Any amount of protection, any amount of wealth is not going to protect them. They only want Krishna. Who will satisfy that? Even the devotees cannot, because they will be satisfied when Krishna comes. That's their only desire. So therefore, to protect, otherwise in separation, like the gopis in Vrindavan, in separation from Krishna, it was like they were on the verge of death because they were not able to see Krishna. So that is the condition of my devotees. So to save them, if I didn't go, they won't be saved. It will be like death. So to save my devotees, I have to come. That's why I come. Paritranaya sadhuna means to protect my devotees. This is what it means. To protect my devotees means what type of protection? I come and give my darshan to them, and that will save their life. So I am coming for my devotees. And what is the other one? Vinashaya cha dushkritam. So those two other points are Vinashaya cha dushkritam means not that any other, like nowadays, whatever demons there are, they can be killed, of course. Even material energy is sufficient. Prakriti will send one tsunami and bus, finished. That demon will be killed. But there are certain personalities for whom the Lord himself has to come. Nobody else will, like Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, right? Even Kamsa, and all the demons in Krishna Leela, Keshi, Putana, all these Bakasur, nobody can kill them. Krishna only has to come for them. So for those special demons, Krishna will come. And Dharma Samsthapanarthaya means not Varnashrama Dharma, Brahman Dharma, Kshatriya Vaishya Dharma, not for that. Here Varnashrama, Dharma Samsthapanarthaya. Dharma means what? Dharma means bhakti. Dharma, you can translate it as karma, activities. Dharma or karma is the same. You can use it as a synonym. So here, what type of activity? Bhakti activities. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Da, which is the life of devotees. So the Lord comes to establish Bhakti Dharma. So Paritranaya Sadhana, Vinashaya cha Dushkritam, Dharma Samsthapanarthaya, Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. The Lord is saying, I come in every yuga. What is the purpose? I'm coming for my devotees. In all these three cases, you will see he's only coming for the devotees only. His only purpose of coming is for the devotees. So the first part of this 514 verse is saying that Bhaktalagi Prabhura Sakal Avatar. Krishna's all avatars that is coming, it's only meant for devotees. And Bhakta Bhoi Krishna Karma Na Jane are, this is very important, except for devotees, nobody can understand the Lord's activities. How is that? Let us see how that is. When will we actually be able to see the Lord, experience the Lord? So maybe I'll just draw some things here. This is, recently I did a course, just completed yesterday, on the transcendental diagram. If you have not attended it, it'll be new for you. But if you have seen it before, it won't be new. So this is called the transcendental diagram. So I'm just drawing roughly. So this is absolute truth. Okay? Paratattvam. So Paratattvam, or absolute truth, can be realized in two forms. Okay, this is absolute truth. Paratattvam can be realized in two forms. One is Nirvishesha and one is Savishesha. Nirvishesha, Brahman. Okay? And in Savishesha, you can have either Paramatma or Bhagavan. So depending on which form you are aspiring for, the path is also different. So if your goal is Brahman, then your path is Jnana Yoga. And if your goal is Savishesha, either Paramatma or Bhagavan, then the path that you adopt is Bhakti Yoga. So therefore, you can understand if it is Paramatma, then within Bhakti also you'll have Ashtanga Yoga, or one is Ashtanga Yoga, the other one will be Shuddha Bhakti. So if you're aspiring for Paramatma, then you will take Ashtanga Yoga process. And if you're aspiring for Bhagavan, you will take to Shuddha Bhakti process. In general, I'm saying. And then there is a third path, which is actually connecting these two. You need certain qualification to enter into these paths. So until you get that qualification, you are supposed to do here. This is called Karma Arpanam. This section is called Karma Arpanam. That means you have to do karma and offer that karma to the Lord. Okay. So within this Karma Arpanam also, now you have, this is Karmi. Within this Karma Arpanam also, those who are aspiring to enter into Jnana Yoga, they follow Nishkama Karma Yoga. And those who are aspiring to enter into Bhakti Yoga, they follow Daiva Varnashrama Dharma. And what is the qualification? Until what time should you follow this Daiva Varnashrama Dharma? Until you get this qualification. The qualification here is called Shraddha. And Shraddha, not just Shraddha, it is Dridha Shraddha. Firm faith you should get. Firm faith in what? Firm faith in Bhakti and Bhagavan. Until you get firm faith in Bhakti and Bhagavan, you cannot give up your karma. You must do your karma. And similarly on this side, if you want to begin Jnana, the qualification is full detachment. Okay, it is detachment, complete detachment, which is also known as Antahakarana Shuddhi. Antahakarana Shuddhi. So now why I am explaining this to you, in our bhakti, all of us are familiar. There are stages. So there is Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, because I already said Shraddha is your entry door. After you get Shraddha, you start with Sadhu Sangha. This is, I'll write on this side, Sadhu Sangha. This is Bhajana Kriya. Then you have Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti. This will be Bhava. And this will be Prema. These are all the stages. So my dear devotees, for me to actually, when will I actually experience the Lord? Like see Him face to face. Bhagavad Sakshatkar will happen after Prema. So this is Bhagavad Prapti. Okay, this area, this is called, your ultimate goal is Bhagavad Prapti. That means you'll attain the personality of Godhead. You'll be able to see Him face to face, touch Him, smell Him, hear, like that. Bhagavad Prapti. This is the final, goal. But Bhagavad Prapti, who can get? Only one who has Prema. One who comes to the stage of Prema, he will get Bhagavad Prapti. In Bhava stage also, you'll get partial in the form of Spurana. Spurana means within your heart, like Dhruva Maharaj, right? Within the lotus of his heart, he's seeing the Lord, hearing His voice, or even smelling smelling the tulsi on His lotus, like that. It's possible. But you see the Lord within your heart. But actually seeing in front of you and touching Him, that can only happen after you get Prema. What to speak of tasting Him? Touching and tasting can only happen after you get Prema. Before that, hearing, smelling can happen in Bhava, but within the heart. My point here is, unless this whole thing, from starting from here all the way up to Prema, this whole area, this is the path of Bhakti. This is the path of Bhakti, starting with Daiva. So where does it start? Here is a Karmi. The Karmi comes in contact somehow or other. Somehow or other means by the mercy. That's the next two verses from here. 5:16 verse talks about that. We will discuss that if time permits. But this karmi, when he comes in contact with the pure devotee, that's when his good fortune awakens. And now he will, for the first time, he will hear that, oh, the absolute truth is Krishna. Or depends on the association. If you meet a Rama Bhakta, you will hear, oh, the Supreme Lord is Lord Ramchandra, or the Supreme Lord is Lord Narasimhadev. And then you will hear his glories. You will hear that I'm not this body. I'm actually a servant of the Supreme Lord. My eternal duty is to simply render direct devotional service to the Lord. Like this, he will start getting faith. But here, when he hears, his faith is only tender faith. It's called Komala Shraddha. It's not strong enough to be doing only that 24/7. But he's building that faith. So what happens in this area, Daiva Varnashram area, is he will continue because he's a karmi. Karmi means karmi is doing karma. So he will continue doing his work. But he will have to do simplified work. Not below this is vikarma. Any work which is not prescribed in Shastra. You can say all the work that we are doing today in the world. All the technology and all this is Ugra Karma, Vikarma. That's not, that's not the karma, Vaidika karma, which is prescribed by Shastra. The problem with this type of karma is it keeps us in the modes of passion and ignorance, which are not conducive to pure devotional service. They are not conducive to cultivating Dhrida Shraddha. That's the problem. So anyway, this is after you come in touch with the devotee, Vikarmi also can come in touch with the devotee. Either Karmi or Vikarmi, anyone can come in touch with the devotee. But for you to now get this qualification of Dhrida Shraddha, you must, your work, why you have to work? Because you still didn't get the qualification to enter into pure devotional service. And while you're working, that work must be in the mode of goodness. Work in the mode of goodness means work which is prescribed by Shastra. So you're doing this work and trying to cultivate this Dhrida Shraddha. What else do you do while you're here? The work is not going to give me Shraddha. What is going to give me Shraddha is how do you build faith? When you hear about the glories of that person, right? So hearing, faith will be built when you hear, by hearing the glories of bhakti and of the Lord. How? By doing bhakti, right? Ajamil called out the name of Lord Narayan. Even Abhasa, he was not even addressing the Supreme Lord. He was calling his son. But simply the name of the Lord is so powerful. But by uttering the name of the Lord, all his sins were removed. And the Vishnu Dutas came for him because he didn't have any offenses. How great. So much power is there in chanting the names of the Lord. By hearing this in the association of such devotees, pure devotees who have that faith, my faith will also become stronger and stronger. And I will start getting qualification to do pure devotional service myself. That is one thing. Hearing the glories of bhakti and also hearing the glories of the Lord. The Lord is again and again assuring the devotees that Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishami Ma Shuchaha. You leave everything. You simply surrender to me. I will deliver you from all sins. Don't worry. Like this, in several places, Krishna gives assurance. So when this new person hears again and again from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamrita, the glories of the Lord and of the devotees and of bhakti, what will happen? Gradually, his Shraddha becomes stronger and stronger. Why am I worrying about all these things? Who will take care of me in my old age and what? I will stop worrying about all these things. Why? On the strength of Krishna's assurance, on the power of bhakti, I will take full shelter of bhakti. That day, when I'm able to take 100% shelter of bhakti, so Dhrida Shraddha's symptom, what is Dhrida Shraddha's symptom? Sharanagati, surrender. That is the symptom, right? And again, there's limbs of Sharanagati. From that, you can understand whether you have Sharanagati or not. Anukulyasya sankalpaha, pratikulyasya varjanam, rakshishyati iti vishwasaha, goptritve varanam. Atmanikshepaha Karpanyam, like that. These are the 6 limbs of Sharanagati. So when someone has that, after all this is done, now he will start Shuddha Bhakti. So now he will have a guru who is going to guide him how he should do bhajan, what type of devotees he should associate with. So he will go through the stages. So this is sadhana bhakti. After Nishtha, Ruchi and Asakti. Yahan tak. Up to here is sadhana bhakti. All these stages are called sadhana bhakti. He's progressing through these stages. By 24/7, he's doing only direct devotional service and he's progressing. And progressing. After Asakti, we don't have time. It's only 1 hour class, and this is like so many sessions long course. This is like practically entire Madhurya Kadambini. So I cannot discuss all that here, but just giving you an idea, right? I want to make my point here. My point is, after crossing through all these stages, even after Asakti, when he comes to Bhava, in Bhava, now he gets his body, spiritual body. No, the process starts, the transcendentalization, like removal of all material portion of my body, my senses starts as I start performing bhakti. But when I come to the stage of Bhava, at that time, I'm actually given my body. There is a relationship with Krishna. Even at that stage, as I told you in the beginning, my experience of Krishna is not full. I'm experiencing as Puranam. Within my heart, I will experience, and also limited senses, only 3 senses I will experience, not all 5. When I come to Prema, that is when I'm actually able to experience Krishna in front of me. And all these stages are the stages of Shuddha Bhakti. The definition of Shuddha Bhakti is, what is the definition of Shuddha Bhakti?
Anya Vilashita.
Yes. Anya Vilashita Shunyam. Jnana Karma Dhyanavritam. Anavritam. Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam. This is the definition of Shuddha Bhakti. Okay. Now, right from this, after Dridha Shraddha, from the beginning, from here, he will be doing this. What this verse is actually meaning is 24/7. That person will be doing Shravanam or Kirtanam or Smaranam or Archanam, like that. 64 limbs. Direct devotional service he will be doing 24/7. Nothing else. No karma, no jnana, nothing. Only direct sakshat bhakti he will be doing. When? From this day 1 onwards, after he gets Dridha Shraddha. From this point onwards, he will be doing direct devotional service 24/7 and Anyabhilashita Shunyam, not for liberation, not for getting, good material situation. By practicing bhakti, my health will be good, my family will be good, in my next life, I will get a good birth. None of these things. His only purpose is simply to please Krishna, to satisfy Krishna. He will be doing this. And Jnana Karma Dhyanavritam means that bhakti which is doing will not be interrupted by jnana and karma. That means even if he does any karma, that karma will not interrupt his bhakti. Like a straight line, his bhakti will continue. Chanting, hearing, remembering, worshipping, serving, that will continue without any interruption. This is the definition of Shuddha Bhakti. And the same thing is what is given by Srila Narad Muni. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam hrishikena hrishikesha sevanam bhaktirutama. Bhaktiruchyate. So same, both are identical, exactly same definitions. That is Shuddha Bhakti. We call this Sadhana Bhakti. So Srila Jiva Goswami explains in Bhakti Sandarbha, when do you get the mercy of Krishna? One more point I have to tell you. You will start how do you go to bhava, you know? One can enter into bhava stage either by going through this sadhana or by the mercy of a devotee who's already in bhava or prema, or by the direct mercy of Krishna. He can come to bhava. Different ways how he comes to bhava. But how does he come to prema, you know? He can come to prema after going through all these phases. When the Lord gives him, that's when he will get prema. The Lord has to give it to him. Without going through these phases also, Krishna has the freedom. He can give prema to anyone he likes. That is there. Or one who goes through all these stages, after bhava, when Krishna gives prema, then he'll get prema. And when he comes to prema, in prema stage, then when Krishna reveals, then this devotee is able to experience the Lord. So that is why Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains in Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, 10th verse. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Where is that verse? Here, 10:10. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Here, pay attention to this. Dadami buddhi yogam. I am going to give him buddhi yoga. That means I'm going to give him that jnana. I'm going to give him that jnana by which he can experience me. How do you experience something? You can experience with your eyes, or with your touch you can experience, with your nose smelling you can experience, like that. So he can experience me when I give him that jnana by which he can experience me. Krishna is saying. Here specifically, Krishna is talking about that stage of prema. Even before that, if you look at our diagram, even before that, do you mean to say that we don't get any knowledge of Krishna while we are we are not even here yet. How many of us are actually doing 24/7 direct devotional service only for the pleasure of Krishna without being interrupted by karma or jnana even for a moment? This is very rare, right? Entering into pure devotional service is rare. That's why Srila Prabhupada said, being a Vaishnava is a very big thing. We are aspiring to be. We are aspiring devotees, aspiring to be Vaishnavas. But even after one becomes a Shuddha Bhakta and is going through these stages, is he not experiencing anything of the Lord? He is. But what he is experiencing here, it is known as Krishna Bhavana. How is he experiencing? Krishna is only entering his heart and he's giving that experience. But in what way? In the way of Krishna Bhavana. Bhavana means consciousness. Krishna consciousness. But is he actually directly experiencing the Lord in person, like seeing him? No. That only happens after prema. And while he is going through these various stages of bhakti, certainly he's getting jnana. He's getting knowledge at various stages. He's getting knowledge about the Lord's Aishwarya and about his glories, about his greatness. He's getting knowledge, jnana. So finally, when he comes to prema, and it is the desire of the devotee, as we discussed earlier, fourth, 4.8, Paritranaya Sadhunam. There it is said, what is the devotee's only desire? He wants to see the Lord. He wants to experience the Lord. So it is natural for the devotee desiring to see him, to touch him, right? In person, directly he wants to do that. Does he have to do anything else apart from doing all the sadhana, bhakti sadhanas which he is doing, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam? Does he have to gain any knowledge in that stage by which he will be able to experience the Lord? So there, the Lord is saying in this verse, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. The Lord is saying, no. The Lord is saying, you don't have to do anything. I will give that knowledge. There's nothing that you have to do. Dadami buddhi yogam tam means I will personally come in front of your eyes and I will give you darshan. I will show myself to you. There's nothing that is required from your side now. I will come and I will show you. So now, if we come back to our Chaitanya Bhagavat verse and see the connection. भक्त भाई कृष्ण कर्म ना जाने आर, कौन जानेगा भगवान को? Except for Krishna, I'm sorry, except for a bhakta, a devotee, Krishna karma cannot be known to anyone else. Who will know? That person will know. To him Krishna reveals. And to whom will Krishna reveal? He will reveal himself to that devotee who has come to prema. So who is left there? Who else can know him? Nobody can know him. Bhakta lagi Prabhu sakala avatar. All his avatars are meant for his devotees only, and except for the devotee, nobody can know the Lord and his wonderful activities. That is why, although it is said, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo vetti tatvataha, right? Jo sach mein janta hai, one who understands the Lord's birth and activities tatvataha, in truth. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo vetti tatvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti. After giving up this body, there is no rebirth for him. Mameti Surjana, he will come to me. So, that knowing Tattvataha, it is not just an intellectual exercise, knowing. You understand? Knowing is different, realizing is different, actually experiencing is different. That experience Krishna will give only to his devotees. So, that was the point in this verse. Unless one is inclined to the service, Lord's service, the activities of Krishna or his eternal pastimes do not become the object of one's realization. So I just went into the actual science, how it works when one experiences Krishna. Now let's read the next verse. Koti janma jadi yoga yagya tapa kore, bhakti vina kona karme phala nahi dhare. Koti janma, for 10 million lifetimes, yadi yoga yagya tapa kore. You can do Ashtanga yoga. You can do yagya means same as dharma, karma, same. Yagya means karma. You can do karma like perfect duties, varnashrama dharma duties and yagyas you do for 10 million lifetimes. Or if you simply did Ashtanga yoga for 10 million lifetimes, tapa, austerities, penances you do, like jnana sadhanas you do for 10 million lifetimes. Simply by doing this, will you be able to, okay, bhakti vina kona karme phala nahi dhare. Point is, all sadhanas, just now in the diagram I showed you, there are 3 paths. These 3 paths are known as Samukhyam. Srila Jiva Goswami explains, actually Krishna explains in Uddhav Gita, 11th canto, 20th chapter, text 6. Yogastrayo maya prokta nrinam shreyo viditsaya. Jnanam karma cha bhakti, bhaktischa Krishna is saying there, 11:26, Krishna is saying, no payonyosti kutrachit. Other than these 3, there is no other upaya. There is no other path. Anywhere. You go anywhere in the entire creation. Except for jnana, karma and bhakti. There is no other path. I have given these 3 paths for the shreya, for the auspiciousness, for the well-being of human beings. Except for these 3 paths, there is no other path. Krishna is saying. But do you know one thing? So, main point here is there are only 3 paths. Jnana, karma and bhakti. But even jnana and karma cannot give. What is the goal of jnana? Liberation. What is the goal of karma? Dharma, artha, kama. You will get wealth and you will get sense gratification. That is the goal of karma. Dharma, artha, kama. And what is the goal of bhakti? Prema. Prema is the goal of bhakti. The goal of jnana is mukti or moksha. The goal of bhakti is prema. And the goal of karma is trivarga. Trivarga means dharma, artha, kama. But karma and jnana cannot give even their respective results without the help of bhakti. If you did only karma, let's say for 10 million lifetimes, with like you did purely karma, there's no mixture of bhakti and no mixture of jnana in that. Purely you're doing karma. Will you get any result of that karma? You won't get. Unless there is an element of bhakti, karma cannot give its own result. Same with jnana. You want liberation, you want moksha, you follow the jnana sadhanas. But if you strictly avoid any form of bhakti in your jnana, similarly for karma, if you strictly avoid any form of karma, bhakti, and if you only did karma, you won't get any result of karma. And if you strictly did jnana, avoiding all bhakti, you can keep doing your jnana for 10 million lifetimes, you won't get any mukti. And you know the glory of bhakti? Bhakti, that's why in Bhagavad Gita, you have 3 sections. You know, first 6 chapters are dealing with Nishkama Karma Yoga, which is karma. Last 6 chapters are dealing with Jnana Yoga, Jnana. Middle 6 chapters are dealing with Bhakti Yoga. Same, three paths only are there. Karma, Jnana and Bhakti. But where is Bhakti kept? In the middle. You know why? Because Bhakti is Sanjeeva Karini. It is the life giver. Staying in the middle, it is giving life to karma and life to jnana. Otherwise, without the support of bhakti, karma and jnana will collapse. They cannot sustain themselves. They cannot give their results. That's what is being said here. Until and unless you do some bhakti, karma, jnana cannot give their own results. What to speak of giving the result of bhakti? Bhakti's result is what? Bhakti's result is prema. Can karma give you prema? Can jnana give you prema? No. Karma, jnana can never give. That's why the result of bhakti, it is so valuable. And when you see that path, you see the conditions are also heavy there. You have to first have that Dhrida Shraddha. Of course, you don't need, like jnana, you don't need to purify your heart and everything. Bhakti will take care of all that. All you need is firm faith in bhakti. Simply if I do bhakti, everything will be taken care of. I don't have to do anything else. That's what Krishna is saying. Surrender to me. If I simply do bhakti, everything else will be taken care of. If you have this type of shraddha, then you are eligible to start bhakti. And then there are so many stages. And finally you get prema. So that prema can be achieved only by Shuddha Bhakti. Can karma give you that result? No. Can jnana give that result? No. What about bhakti? Can bhakti give you the result of karma and jnana? Look at another quality of bhakti. Without the help of karma or jnana, bhakti can give the results of karma jnana alone. Like if you have $100 or 100 rupees, don't you have 10 rupees in that? You have, right? Like that, bhakti will give its own result. It can even give the results of jnana and karma without any help, taking any help from karma or jnana. So all these glories of Shuddha Bhakti are given by Srila Jiva Goswami. Given means he's only quoting from various Puranas, Vedas, Shastras, Bhagavatam mainly. And he's proving it. Not that he's just, telling us something from his side. He's actually taking all these jewels from the Shastras and presenting the Bhakti philosophy for us. So he says there that this is the glory of Shuddha Bhakti. If you do Shuddha Bhakti, you don't need to do anything else. Shuddha Bhakti can give you, that is why Akama Sarva Kamova Moksha Kama Udaradi. Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Yajeta Purusham Param. You are full of desires, or you want liberation, or you don't have any desires. Everyone, simply do Tivra Bhakti. You do Shuddha Bhakti, Ananya Bhakti, pure devotional service. All your desires will be fulfilled. Your desire for liberation will be fulfilled. Whatever other desires you may have will be fulfilled. And you'll get the highest result if you do Shuddha Bhakti. You'll get prema also. So this is the glory of Bhakti. So what is this verse in Chaitanya Bhagavat telling us, the 15th one. Koti janma jadi yoga yagna tapa kore. So yoga means Ashtanga yoga. So Ashtanga yoga with the goal of Paramatma. Don't take the example of Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj did Ashtanga yoga with the goal of Bhagwan. So that is different. That is why you have to look at the goal. If your goal is Nirvishesh Brahman, then that is Jnana Marga. If your goal is Paramatma, then that is not yet complete. It's Bhakti Marg only, one angle of Bhakti. But Shuddha Bhakti is different. If your goal is Bhagavan, then you take Shuddha Bhakti. So, Koti Janma Jadi Yoga Yagya Tapa Kore Bhakti Vina Kona Karma Phala Nahi Dhare. Right? Without taking to devotional service, which path will give you a result? No path will give you the result. So you want to, one more thing from the purport we will read. Until a conditioned soul's propensity for enjoyment and renunciation is checked, he remains entangled in the network of karma and thus cannot understand the essential characteristics of devotional service, which is the eternal propensity of spirit soul. And unless all activities like austerity, yoga, and sacrifice are performed for the pleasure of Hari, they result in lording over material nature. So here I want to quickly, we have like 5-6 minutes remaining. I will see how much I can cover. So what is this verse saying here? That the verse is saying that until a conditioned soul's propensity for enjoyment and renunciation is checked, he remains entangled in the network of karma, and so he cannot understand the essential characteristics of devotional service. You see, what is the position of the conditioned soul, you know? This is the Atma, conditioned soul. Conditioned. Conditioned means he will be covered by avidya. Since when? Anadi. He is covered by avidya. What is avidya? Paratattva jnana samsarga abhava. That is Paratattva jnana samsarga abhava. Anadi Paratattva jnana samsarga abhava. This is the position of the conditioned soul. Anadi means since beginningless. Paratattva means the absolute truth. Jnana means knowledge. Abhava means absence. Absence of knowledge of the absolute truth since beginningless. That is the position of this living entity who's covered by avidya. And then along with this avidya, he has his karma. That karma is also since anadi. He has so many lifetimes, he has karma. Such a living entity, when he enters, when there is creation, when the universe is created, right, by the glance of Karanodakashayi Vishnu, when the universe is created, now all these, from his glance, all these conditioned souls enter into the universe, and then there's a procedure. We don't have time to go over the procedure, but here Brahmaji is there, right? In the universe, we have 14 planetary systems. So here in the top planetary system, Lord Brahma is there. Brahmaji, he's with all these souls, Jivatmas covered by avidya and karma. So he gives them their bodies according to their karma. So when he gives bodies, now what will he give? He'll give the subtle body consisting of Chittam, Ahankara, Buddhi, Manaha, gross senses, gross body, and then there will be sense objects outside. So these are all the cover. I'm drawing only on one side. Actually, it's a whole circle. Okay. These are all the coverings on this living entity. Conditioned soul's position I'm showing. So this is the conditioned soul's position, which is covered by avidya. And then here is ahankara, mithya ahankara, false ego. Because of this false ego, this living entity is identifying himself with this body. He's thinking, sometimes he thinks, I am my intelligence. So therefore he thinks I am so smart. Or sometimes this is mind. Sometimes he thinks I am mind. So when he thinks I am mind, he'll think I like this, I hate this. This is not the one who's liking. Liking and disliking, ichha, dvesha, sukham, dukkham are the functions of mind. But because of ahankara, this living entity is claiming to be the mind. He's claiming to be intelligence. He's claiming to be the senses, claiming to be the body, gross body. I'm beautiful, I'm ugly, I'm Indian, I'm American. All this is because of this ahankara he's claiming. Okay? This living entity is claiming. What is being said in this verse is, until and unless this living entity becomes free from this avidya and ahankara, there is no way that he can understand. He won't be able to understand the Lord. Right? That happens way later. Understanding the Supreme Lord, realizing, experiencing the Supreme Lord, I showed you when that is happening, after you take to bhakti. So what does this living entity need? He has to get rid of these things. Simply getting rid of avidya is sufficient for you to understand Bhagavan, experience Bhagavan? No. Because I showed you in this path, Jnana path, here, after doing Nishkama Karma Yoga, that avidya portion is removed. It's replaced by vidya. So if avidya is removed, and even let's say he comes to this point of liberation, avidya, vidya, everything is removed, he is in Jivan Mukta stage, is he able to automatically realize Krishna? No. He will only realize Brahman, Nirvishesha form. He is not realizing Krishna. For you to realize Bhagavan, either Lord Krishna or Lord Ramchandra or Narasimhadev, what do you need? After removal of this avidya, also you need something else. What is it that you need? You need bhakti. So now I am covered by this avidya and karma and then ahankara. All these other coverings are there. When these things are removed, that is simply removal is not sufficient. Now I will need the covering of bhakti. I will need bhakti. I will need bhakti. This bhakti is needed. Unless I am covered by bhakti, and how you'll get this bhakti? That's a procedure. We don't have time for that today. But when you start performing sadhana bhakti, your body, your material body starts becoming transformed. I think I said that, I'm not sure though. But this is essential. Unless this jivatma, he becomes free from avidya and he becomes covered by bhakti, there is no way that he can, understand the Supreme Lord. So that's what this verse is saying. Quickly, I'll wind up. Even if one performs yoga, sacrifice, austerity for millions of births, he cannot attain any result. That means that particular sadhana's result also he cannot get without help of bhakti. I told you, bhakti is Sanjiva Karinti. It is the one that supports, gives life to other sadhanas. So without bhakti, they cannot give their own results. And what to speak of realizing the Supreme Lord? Can you get any result? No. Until a conditioned soul's propensity for enjoyment and renunciation. This propensity for enjoyment is coming from where? It is coming after he gets that, falsely. After I get this body, I think that when I feed this body, I'm enjoying. When I dress this body, I'm enjoying. Or when my mind, when I win something, I'm enjoying. But actually, all that enjoyment is coming from where? You're feeding the body, you're feeding the mind and your intelligence, but you're thinking you are enjoying. So this is false because you are a spirit soul. Spirit soul does not enjoy matter. Spirit is spirit. How it will enjoy matter? But the spirit, when it is identifying itself with matter, is thinking that it is enjoying. So until a conditioned soul's propensity for enjoyment means this false enjoyment because of claiming the self to be the body. Unless that enjoyment and renunciation is checked. And renunciation is just like the other side of the same coin. Ichha dvesham, liking and hating, both are coming from the mind only. They are not the qualities of the spirit soul. So as long as I'm stuck because of that ahankara, he remains entangled in the network of karma. and then he cannot understand the essential characteristics of devotional service. What do you need to understand devotional service? You need devotional service. Where will you get that devotional service? The next verse says that, He na bhakti vinay bhakta sevile na hoy, atayeva bhakta seva sarva shastre koi. He na bhakti, this bhakti, what we are talking about, which bhakti? This bhakti, without which even karma, jnana, tapa, they don't give the results. That bhakti, vinay, without that bhakti, bhakta sevile na hoy. Until and unless you serve a devotee who has that bhakti, you won't get any bhakti. Atayeva bhakta seva sarva shastra koi. That's why all shastras are telling us, serve the devotees, because devotees are the ones who are carrying that bhakti in their heart. They can give you that bhakti. Such devotional service cannot be attained without serving the devotees. Therefore, all the scriptures glorify the service of the devotees. There is no alternative purport. There is no alternative for a living entity to become liberated from the conditioned state other than exclusively following and serving the devotees. And how this is glorified? In Srimad Bhagavatam, we will see Jada Bharat is speaking to Rahugan Maharaj, this verse. Rahuganaitat tapasa, no. Anyway, I'll just read the translation. My dear King Rahugana, unless one has the opportunity to smear his entire body with the dust of the lotus feet of great devotees, one cannot realize the absolute truth simply by observing celibacy, strictly following the rules and regulations of householder life, leaving home as a vanaprastha, accepting sannyas, or undergoing severe penances in winter by keeping oneself submerged in water or surrounding oneself in summer by fire and the scorching heat of the sun. There are many other processes to understand the absolute truth, but the absolute truth is only revealed to one who has attained the mercy of a great devotee. Until and unless you get the mercy of a great devotee, you cannot understand Bhagavan. Unless, then Prahlad Maharaj is saying, unless they smear upon their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava completely freed from material contamination. Devotee also means what devotee? Shuddha Bhakta. And the higher his prema, the better. The type of association you get, jaisa sang, vaisa rang, it is said. That the way you associate, that's what will rub off onto you also. So unless they smear upon their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, completely freed from material contamination, persons very much inclined toward materialistic life cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord. That means you will get this bhakti only from a devotee who is glorified for his uncommon activities. Only by becoming Krishna conscious and taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord in this way can one be freed from material contamination. So, the way it works is that mercy to us, very first time, somebody who doesn't know anything about Bhagavan, he doesn't know anything about bhakti, the very first time, how do you get this? It comes to you by the mercy of this Parama Swatantra, Bhagavad Bhakta Sangha, Tat Kripa, Jata Mangalo Dayena, right? You can begin your pure devotional service when you get Dhrida Shraddha. This Dhrida Shraddha comes to you when your auspiciousness awakens. This auspiciousness, how does it awaken? When you get the association of a pure devotee of the Lord. In that association, he gives his mercy to you. By his mercy, all the doubts in your heart about the Supreme Lord, about bhakti, when all those doubts are relieved, and whatever anarthas, unwanted things which are there in you, you're carrying that baggage since beginningless. So the major anarthas which are blocking you from surrendering to the Lord, by the mercy of a pure devotee, when those anarthas are kicked out, that's when you will get firm faith. And when you get firm faith, you can begin pure devotional service. So therefore, all Shastras are saying, without the mercy of a devotee, there's no way that you're going to realize the Supreme Lord or you're going to perform devotional service. With that, I will end today's session. If there is any questions or comments, you're welcome.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Such a deep technical class, but it was so beautifully conveyed. The value of bhakti was conveyed to a dumb little brain like mine. All I was thinking when I'm so engrossed in ahankara, avidya, everything, and all I could do was keep thanking Srila Prabhupada. Somehow, he's reached out to so many of us, all of us, and he's created so many Guru Maharajas who are showering their mercy and somehow giving that bhakti to our heart and awakening us.
He's given us his purports also in the form
Yes.
of very important. And he said that we should all study his books because
Mm.
that's when we will understand what is bhakti, right? That's
Mm.
when we will understand. So that's his mercy. The
Mm.
books that he's given, that's his mercy also.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, so beautifully you conveyed, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Such a beautiful class. I'm very, very glad
I
that
apologize for rushing because I was within the time limit. And so that's one thing. I'm sorry for that, for rushing and going quickly. But
oh, Mataji, it was beautiful. Thank you so much. Mataji, there's a raised hand. Do you have time?
yes, ma'am.
Bhagyashri Mataji, please go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Please accept my most humble obeisances to you, Lotus Feet Mataji. It was really, really a wonderful class with a wonderful step by step. Everything you are explaining about Bhakti was each and every bit was very much convincing and very nicely portrayed, Mataji. Thank you so much for it. Mataji, my question is, like you mentioned, after the stage of bhava, you'll get your spiritual body, and then
In the stage of bhava, you'll get.
okay, in the stage.
It's in the budding stage in bhava and it is fully blossomed, fully grown in prema.
Okay, so this spiritual body will be the same as our eternal Swarupa, Mataji.
Yes.
And after this body, we can be firmly situated in prema, and there will be no fall down.
No.
And what are the characteristics of the spiritual body here, Mataji?
Acha. So there are actually, what are the symptoms? Body means externally. This is also, because you see, as we discussed just now, that bhakti is capable of giving the results of all other sadhanas independently. Even without, for example, what karma do? We cook at home, right? We are cooking meal. So that means meal also can manifest without my cooking. Without doing that karma, if I simply did bhakti, prasad will also manifest without cooking. That can also be done. And if I fall sick, I'll take medicine. So if I simply did bhakti, my diseases can be cured also. Bhakti has that potency. So here, even though this devotee has a transcendental body, externally, it will appear like he has a body like you and me. And sometimes it can even appear like he's falling sick, he's taking a medicine, or maybe he's physically handicapped, or things like that. It can appear like that externally. But you will have to see his consciousness. Externally, it will appear like that. Why? If he has a transcendental body, then why externally it appears to us like he has an ordinary body? This is because Bhakti Devi, Bhakti Maharani, she is hiding her glories from the vision of the unqualified people. Naham prakashah sarvasya yogamaya samavritah. Because those who are not qualified, Bhakti's glories there's a curtain. Her glories are covered from them. Why? Because when they see, oh, by doing bhakti, now I don't have to cook. So instead of cooking, she will sleep until 10 o'clock and she'll wake up at 10 o'clock and she'll say, Hare Krishna, and the food will manifest in front of her. Bhakti can do that. Bhakti has that power. But this person's intention is not to surrender to Krishna in bhakti. Her intention is use bhakti for some material purpose. Similarly, the farmer will stop working hard in the fields. Instead, he'll say, Hare Krishna, and the food will come. And Gyanis also, why go through all this tapasya? We'll just say Hare Krishna, and we will just get mukti. But their intention is not surrendering to Krishna and wanting love of Krishna. No, they're cheaply using, like in the beginning, we read Srila Prabhupada's quote about sandalwood. Huh? So one who has no intelligence, sandalwood, such a precious, valuable wood, he's putting in the fire to cook some food. Similarly, someone who doesn't know that this bhakti is like a diamond, a precious stone, not understanding the value of this bhakti. With this bhakti, I can realize Paratattvam in his full form. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I can get love of Godhead by this bhakti. Instead of surrendering himself, he will use this bhakti to get some cheap things in this world. That is why Bhakti Maharani hides her glories. She hides her glories from people in general who are not serious, who are not pure devotees. For that reason, even though they have this transcendental body, it will appear like they have ordinary body. But then, how do you know? One devotee who is in that position can recognize another devotee who is there. But also we have some indications given by the Acharya. One thing is, someone who has this transcendental body. Now, if he's in prema, means he has transcendental body already. That person, wherever he sees, like we know about this Brahmabhuta prasannatma nasochati nakangshati samah sarveshu bhuteshu. He's seeing Brahman everywhere. Wherever he's seeing, he's not seeing a book, he's not seeing a bag or nothing. Or he's not seeing his wife and his mother. No, he's only seeing Brahman, Brahman, Brahman. Everything is Brahman. But for this Premi Bhakta, one who is in Prema, who is in his transcendental body, wherever he sees his Ishta, Deva. So if his Ishta form is Krishna, he will be seeing only Krishna everywhere. Whether he's seeing a pillar or he's seeing a tree or a car or anything, he's only seeing Krishna, 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 Krishna. And not only that, he will see that whatever love he has for Krishna, he sees that all other living entities, everyone is loving Krishna so much, only I don't have that love. It's not that they love Krishna, but his love, he sees the reflection of his love in everyone. He doesn't see, he says, I don't have any love. Oh, this river has so much love for Krishna, right? So when Krishna comes, it's just going in, those ripples in one place, in like a whirlpool. Because Krishna stepped here, so this water doesn't want to leave this place. So that's why it's going round and round. It's so greedy for Krishna. How much love this water has for Krishna. Or the trees, right? The trees are bound. Oh, these trees are bowing down to each other because they are seeing that they love Krishna so much. He is seeing that everyone is loving Krishna out of love. Everyone is, in ecstasy. But really, in fact, it is his love he's seeing. So two things he sees. Bhagavat Bhavam means he's seeing Krishna in everything and everyone. And also he's seeing the love that he has in his heart, in everyone's heart. That is why Uttama Bhakta cannot preach. Why? Because he sees everyone is Uttama Bhakta. Everyone loves Krishna so much. What will he preach to someone who has so much love? He cannot preach because he sees everyone loves Krishna. Only I don't love Krishna. So that is one quality of a devotee who has a transcendental body. Premi Bhakta. Okay, Bhagyashri Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Wow. Amazing. Very superbly you have portrayed everything, Mataji. Wonderful. It was so much pleasure hearing the explanation. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay. Any other questions, comments?
Thank you, Bhagyashri Mataji, for the question. Thank you, Mataji, for the beautiful answer. Mataji, there are some messages to you in the chat. Neetu Mataji is thanking you for a beautiful class. Yashomati Mataji is saying it was a wonderful class and she's eternally grateful to you. Swati Mataji is thanking you for a blissful session. And Yashomati Mataji is also glorifying Srila Prabhupada's purpose. So, Mataji, looks like There are no more questions.
Yes.
And Mataji, I'm just confirming you stopped at text 517, Mataji.
Acha, I forgot. Nah, 516. Yes, I did 14, 15, 16 only. I completely forgot that, oh, I was supposed to go up to 27. But yeah, I ended at 16, Mataji. 14, 15, 16.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. I will tell the host so that she can tell the next speaker.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, glories to Srila Prabhupada. No problem, Mataji. Your 3 verses were wonderfully explained. So you did justice to 3 verses. So that's perfectly fine. And thank you for repeating this transcendental diagram. I know you explained in great detail when you were doing it in the entire week seminar, which was extremely wonderful, Mataji. Thank you so much. Sometimes I would not be able to join on Zoom because it's always full. But yes, I joined through YouTube. So
Okay.
thank you, Mataji. Thank you. And thank you for repeating this entire diagram. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Wonderful session, Mataji. Wonderful session. And we always look forward for your classes.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Sorry, Chinmay Mataji, you can take over now.
No, Mataji, your glorifications. I had a big smile on my face. You're glorifying Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. So, Mataji, with your permission, shall we offer obeisances? Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha.
Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Bhagavad
Bhagavad
Ki
ki jai.
Jai.
Das Thakur Ki Jai.
Jai.
Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Saraswati Mataji Ki Jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Very, very nice. Wonderful class, Mataji. As
Thank you
usual,
so much,
all the
Mataji.
time in detail.
Dandavat
Thank you.
Pranam.
Thank you,
Hare
dear
Krishna Mataji,
devotees.
Dandavat Pranam.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Great as
Hare
always.
Krishna
Thank you so
Mataji,
much.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining us.
Thank you.
I'll end up the call here and see you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Hare
Thank you.